This is the country of Rusov. It takes the largest area in the continent. The only savanna land is their capital, Moscow. Here, King Beck resides. He is the great ruler of 7 provinces of Rusov. On the south of the continent is the country of Ikran, filled with various resources. Its people are protected in their small nation. They are fortunate with their geographical location as they face the ocean. It allowed them to have many trading ports. A lot have happened on the 2 nations in history. Decades ago, Ikran was part of Rusov. Their resources are shared to the capital, including adamantine. However, the people of Ikran have different culture and grew tired of the government's corruption of their minerals. Hence, they built their own nation and lived separately, allowing them to have their own autonomy over their ancestral land. The ruler at that time, King Vod, was not entirely happy of their separation. He knew that their lands will be a great loss to the wealth of Rusov. But he was afraid to touch their borders because the eyes of other nations are on him. He couldn't make a move, so he let their decision pass. After King Vod's death, his son, Vil, became king. King Vil saw that his father was a failure in conquering Ikran. King Vil's ambitions made him declare a militaristic move against Ikran. He attacked the small country and swarmed them with his armies. At that time, Ikran held a vast amount of adamantine. The strongest metal in the world that can only be found in their lands. Ikran may be outnumbered, but Rusov was outmatched. Ikran's weapons were too powerful for their enemies. In the heat of battle, King Vil was slain. The people of Rusov was informed of the death of their king. Then Ikran offered a peace treaty to Rusov, giving them the chance to surrender and stop their invasion. The battle ended, and the remaining soldiers returned to their countries. That war cost a lot of casualties. With the death of Rusov's king, their people was led by their provincial leaders. King Vil's son, Beck, was just 7 years old when his father was killed. And after years of learning about his right to rule, Beck was crowned as king of Rusov. Presently, both nations are prosperous. The years of peace allowed them to recover from the previous war. But as King Vad's lineage remains, so does its greed. For King Beck now have the same thought as his ancestors. Ikran remained the only nation with adamantine. But on the mine of Remiskov, Rusov steals the adamantine of Ikran. King Beck told Vidim, the king of Ikran, that their resources must be shared to their original kingdom. King Vidim saw that as a disrespect to their country and the treaty. King Beck wasn't satisfied. Rusov then steal the adamantine on the mine of Vikork. King Beck wants to reclaim Ikran as Rusov's territory. Numerous soldiers of Rusov have swarmed the borders of Remiskov and Vikork. King Beck threatened King Vidim that if they do not surrender their sovereignty to Rusov, they will take it by force. Then King Vidim became angry. He refused to let Ikran be under Rusov's rule again. But while planning for his defense, Rusov bombed the borders of Ikran. King Beck launched an assault to their country. The soldiers of Rusov bombed the cities of Ikran. King Beck ordered a ceasefire. King Beck made it a warning to King Vidim that if they will not surrender to Rusov's power, things will get more worse. Rusov temporarily stopped their military operation in Ikran. It gave King Vidim some time to think about his moves. He ordered his citizens to gather all who can fight for their country and make them soldiers. Luckily, their adamantines are many and their weapons are much stronger than their enemies' equipment. After some time of preparation, King Vidim proclaimed their stand. Ikran will not surrender. And at that moment, King Beck attacked them. However, the soldiers of Ikran were defensive, matching Rusov's strength. King Beck knows that if they continue, they won't stand a chance against Ikran's adamantine. So, he ordered his soldiers to bomb Ikran. A lot of people died. Houses were burned. Then they finally overtake the city of Vermiskov. And after conquering it, they took over Vikort next. Ruskov stopped again. There are only 3 provinces left in Ikran. King Beck gave King Vidim a last warning, an option to willingly surrender. If not, Ruskov will not spare him. At the moment of desperation, a message was sent to King Vidim. A country from the west will send aid. Three provinces are left in Ikran. A lot of Ukrainian died. The bombing left the poor citizens at the mercy of their enemy. Then, a help from a Western country came to King Vidim. The United Empire of Dylan will aid them against Rusov. This highly developed country created a stronger weapon. They have firearms, stronger than bows and arrows, and can easily kill its target. The Dylan Empire is against King Beck's propaganda. Its king, Douglas, set his eyes on Rusov due to its assault on Ikran. They readied their armaments. However, with Ruskov's conquer of Vikork and Remiskov, they extracted their adamantine. King Beck used them to upgrade their weapons with the strongest metal in the world. But King Douglas didn't fret. He knew that their technology is stronger than their enemies. He advised King Beck to muster all the soldiers of Ikran. Then, King Douglas and his armies arrived. Ready to fight for Ikran. Then, King Beck charged for battle. The Westerners' guns gave an advantage to their alliance. Killed many of their enemies. soldiers of Ikran fought Rusov's armies in Remiskov and Vikork. They successfully regained their cities. The battle was prolonged by the defenses of both sides. After a lengthy time of fighting, Ikran and the United Empire of Dylan victoriously drove Rusov's soldiers away from their borders. Though the war is not yet over, King Vidim and King Douglas were pleased to see their enemy flee. They tended their wounded citizens and provided them food. The south of the continent were hopeful again that the war will be over soon. However, the northern country played the game so well. For King Beck successfully executed his plan to reduce their number. And his armada remained formidable. At the cover of night, he charged against them. The Dylan Empire and Ikran was caught unprepared. Many of their soldiers died as Rusov bombed their way to victory. The Dylan Empire launched more of their firearms. The enemy is too strong. Rusov caught them by surprise. Ikran was too weak, and their ally was outnumbered. One by one, Rusov conquered each city. At last, King Beck was triumphant, and King Vidim was dethroned. King Douglas and his remaining soldiers retreated and went back to their country, leaving a promise to the people of Ikran. I will return. In the year 560, Ikran was conquered by Rusov. The remaining Ikranians lived under the rule of King Beck. For 3 years, they were maltreated. For 3 years, they were robbed of their resources. Three years. And during that time, the Western country have been busy. King Douglas and his remaining soldiers returned to their country after their defeat. They wanted to take revenge on Rusov. They need help from someone stronger. From the eastern side of the pacified ocean stands the country of Jinsek. During the development of guns in the West, they invented a more powerful weapon, the blasters. They shoot like a gun, but kill like a bomb. They didn't interfere during the War of Rusov and Ikran to protect their own country. Its emperor, Hiroshi, was persuaded by King Douglas to join the war. If they will be successful in defeating Rusov, King Douglas promised Hiroshi that Jinsek can take a land for their own. At the continent, a fight broke out between the remaining Ikranians and Rusov's soldiers as they rebelled against the empire. The report reached King Beck that Vidim was leading the rebellion. So, he ordered his execution. The news of the death of Ikran's former ruler was heard by the other countries. The people of Ikran are gone, and justice won. Now, the united empire of Dylan and Jinsek unite against Rusov. They readied their weapons and sailed to their continent. King Beck wasn't stopped by their alliance. As they landed on Rusov's land, he charged against them. Bombs. Guns. Blasters. The joint forces of Douglas and Hiroshi overpowered Rusov. King Beck was dissatisfied by what he's seeing. So, he joined the war and killed his enemies. Their weapons were destructive. The civilians were killed. Rusov is at their last stand. And at the final moments, King Beck was killed. The death of the old ruler left the people of Rusov with uncertainty. Their land was devastated by the war, and the remaining citizens were almost abandoned, left to fend for themselves. With King Douglas and Emperor Hiroshi's victory, their agreement was executed. The people of Rusov were afraid as they saw ships arriving. The Dylan Empire and Jinsek settled in their continent. Will they bring peace? Or will they just be another peril to the world?